Week 3 is officially in the books, and two coaches go down, fired, after 3 weeks of college football. In prior college football, you probably just look past it, no big deal, but things have changed. The portal's open for these two schools, and hot boards have already started. For some teams that are looking to fire their coach, what could this mean for you? What does it mean for the two teams that lost their head coach? And what does it mean for the transfer portal? We got to talk about it. Let's go. After an egregious start for UCLA and Nico, I'm going to leave you real quick. After going 0-3 and just 5-10 in basically a year and some change, Deshaun Foster as head coach at UCLA is out of there. They've looked rough. It makes a lot of sense. There just seems to be no path, no direction for UCLA. Wild change of events, though. I mean, think about where UCLA was by landing Nico. I don't think we all thought that UCLA would be placed onto the map after moving on from Joey Aguilar. But kudos. I mean, it looks like Joey Aguilar is going to get the last laugh here. But I don't think we thought that UCLA would be in this predicament at this point. So that was the first big hire. The second one was Brent Pry from Virginia Tech. He also gets canned after going 16 for 24 in his 4 seasons. Now, if you're trying to think about what other coaches have done that poorly in 4 years, maybe gone 20 and 21 in 4 years, we'll talk about that here in just a few moments. But he is also kicked from the boot at Virginia Tech. A couple of questions are going to be raised and thought about once this has happened. First of all, I'm going to be wondering, is Nico going to hit the portal once again? Because now with both coaches, the portal opens up for both of these teams tomorrow for 30 days where players can enter into the transfer portal. Now, essentially, they could go into the transfer portal and go put on into another team. Now, the kicker here is that they're enrolled at the school that they're currently at. That's going to be the breaker here. But for graduate students that aren't enrolled in anything, I think there might be, like, they essentially could technically go play like a mid-season trade. Go play for another school, I think. That's a wishy-washy area of how things could shake up. But more than likely what you're going to see is a lot of people redshirting, right? They're going to go ahead and just forego this season, step out, enter into the transfer portal, not continue to play because they didn't play more than 4 games. They're able to redshirt and save this season so they don't burn it playing at UCLA. And I think a lot of teams are probably going to wait and see what happens, if I got to be honest, because this is the first of its kind where we've seen a firing mid-season to this magnitude with key players on, with someone like a Nico on a team, and seeing how the portal is going to impact that, and if it's going to be pilgrimage. Because also keep in mind, sure, could you go and get a player right now, put them on your roster if the situation worked out from a academic standpoint? Yes. 98% of these players aren't going to be able to go mid-season, but they can be spoke to, they can be talked to, all those things. Also keep in mind, the school that wants to bring them over has a scholarship roster probably already filled up as well. So all those things keep in mind. I don't think we're going to see any mid-season trades like that. That would be wild. I don't think there's unless they find some ways to jump through and some loopholes. We've seen crazier things. Let these agents and lawyers get to work. I don't know. I don't think it could happen, but I at this point with college football, I don't even talk about it or think about it anymore. So it will be something we'll definitely keep an eye on. And I think some other teams that have their coaches on a hot seat may wait to see this and allow this thing to run out and run its course for maybe a week or two to see how it shapes up. But something else to keep in mind, because with coaching being fired, hot boards get picked up. And with hot boards, coaches being talked at, coaches being tampered with, this is where if you do fire a coach mid-season, you have an opportunity to get in early, to get the paper signed maybe earlier than somebody else if they wait to the end of the season, right? And maybe if you can get some buzz about who is going to be your next head coach, maybe that'll help retain some guys. Maybe it'll help retain a recruiting class. There's so many moving pieces here that we haven't really dealt with or maneuvered through with this new age of college football, because the transfer portal throws an entire wrench into this situation when prior it didn't matter. Right? You just kind of fired a guy halfway through the season, interim coach comes through, your recruiting class could be impacted a little bit, but nowhere near what we're happening here. Again, when Nick Saban left, he put Bama in the best situation possible because, yes, these kids had 30 days to leave, but a lot of these schools had their roster already filled up. They didn't have room. On top of enrollment had already happened. So he put Alabama in the best situation possible to navigate it. you put your school in the worst situation possible when you let them go this early. Now, for both of these teams, they probably didn't care. Bygones be bygones. We'll see you later. But some hot board, I saw this and I got to thinking, because as Florida Gators, with Billy Napier on this hot seat, obviously hot boards are flying. The lists are flying everywhere of who could be the next target. A name that's been tossed around for the Florida Gators is Will Stein, which is the offensive coordinator for Oregon. Now, some other names you see, Shane Beamer for Virginia Tech is an interesting one. Obviously, with the family ties there, I don't see him leaving. Michael Vick, obviously, possibly to Virginia Tech. I know Gruden was obviously a thought process. He wants to come back. 2 new openings for him. He wanted the SEC. I don't think that dream comes through at all. But you got to wonder now, if you are a school that has a coach that you're probably going to get rid of, i.e. Napier and the Florida Gators, the way how things are trending, do you get a head start in the coach hunt? Now, if your Florida Gators going up against UCLA and Virginia Tech, it shouldn't be a dogfight. You should be able to walk in there and say, hey, appreciate you guys playing, but we're going to go ahead and take this guy. We want him, so we'll see you later. I don't think Florida has to jump too soon on that one. I think for me, the biggest fear this entire time was going to be the transfer portal and how players, if they just quit out, because you genuinely, if you think about it, UCLA could be marching 10 guys out in a couple of weeks. I don't think it gets that bad, but it's possible. It genuinely is, because again, these guys with NIL and the opportunity to make a lot of money, sitting out a year is 100% worth it. Now, you could argue, hey, well, when somebody sees so-and-so sit out, they're not going to want to draft him. I would love to believe that. But we saw it last year with the kid from UNLV, the quarterback. He found a home, not the shiniest, prettiest home that you could have landed. Sure. But this situation, I think, is much more warranted given your coach was fired mid-season. You're like, hey, I signed up to play for Deshaun Foster or Coach Pry, and they're no longer here, so I'm not going to waste a year of just going through the motions. I'm going to invest in me. It's a catch-22. I kind of understand it. I kind of don't like it. I don't know how to feel, to be quite honest with you. But it is definitely a tough place to navigate in this new world of the portal and NIL era, especially since they have dwindled it down to one portal. We had 2, which the second one wasn't really jumping anyways, but we now from 2 to 1 changes a lot of things. I believe you definitely have a tighter window, have to react much faster. So schools and coaches are going to be pressed to move quickly and act quickly as well, given especially because a lot of these, look at these coaches on the top board, especially for UCLA. All 3 as of now of those potential candidates are in the playoff picture. And so that rides through the portal season. That would go into where you would want to try to hire a coach because National Signing Day is the early of December. Look, hire a new coach because of all the movement, right? Even National Signing Day is a big thing that's changed. It used to be in February. It moved up to December 21st, which was the early signing day. There still is February, but we all know that in December is a National Signing Day. But now that date's been moved up to December like 5th, 6th, 7th, that week of December. So it's even earlier. It's 1 week after the last week of college football. So you have a week to try to do something. If you were to coach to the end of the season, then take the job, you've got a week to react. So we clean things up for the natural process of the game, but in the sense of, you have to move on from a coach, it's an ugly one. It is not the cleanest, best process that you could be rocking and rolling with. So a lot of things to be questioning, especially for Florida fans. We're wondering of this Napier situation. We want him gone, but is it the best practice? Look, I think all of us are fed up with what we've seen. I think we'd be okay with it, to be quite honest with you. But you really got to take a step back, see how this thing, I think, plays out and how you want to navigate this offseason as best as you possibly can. That's what's going to be interesting to watch over these next couple of weeks with these 2 schools that may not have the same pedigree as, let's say, a Florida or even Alabama. I know that DeBoer was on the hot seat after week 1. He seems to have found his rhythm here after beating Wisconsin. We'll see how that shapes up. But yeah, going to be interesting to see. Let us know in the comment section below how you feel about it. Who's on your hot seats after Napier moving forward? Hot boards for these two teams, and hot boards for maybe some other schools that could be looking to move on. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and love, baby.